Hello and welcome to Hoarders, a podcast where you can either clean with me or hope for a better tomorrow. Last week's episode, I discussed where I believed my hoarding came from. This episode, I did a little bit of research on why hoarding develops and what situational or generational mental health issues can be tied to it. As always, I am not a doctor, a therapist, or any sort of professional. I only have personal experience. So take everything I say with half a grain of salt. And if you are needing help, please seek professional help. Okay, so first things first, let's start with what is hoarding. So compulsive hoarding is the persistent difficulty discarding or parting with possessions because of a perceived need to save them. Like I said in my other videos, that is entirely why I have my things. So 3 things that I have read up on that contribute to compulsive hoarding is childhood experiences, trauma and loss, and family history or habits. Let's get into the first one. By the way, this is literally just copy and pasted from a website. I'm sorry, I did not change it up. I'm just reading what the research has said, and then I'm going to dissect my life from there. To an extent, I'm not going to dive in to a lot of things just because I'm not comfortable sharing. But childhood experiences. Some researchers believe hoarding can relate to childhood experiences of losing things, not owning things, or people not caring for you. Some examples are money worries or living in poverty, having your belongings taken or thrown away by someone, hardships, emotional abuse, neglect. For example, if your basic needs were not met or other people didn't treat you with warmth and support. It says down here, these experiences might make you feel more connected to your belongings or make it hard for you to organize them. For me, that is true. I think, as I've stated in my other video, it's not just things. I guess it is things. No, yeah, it is things. They're just not like handheld things. Like buildings, I guess, are things. They're nouns, person, place, or thing. But yeah, that is definitely a thing for me. And I would say that is true for me. Trauma and loss. You might be able to link the start of your hoarding to a traumatic period in your life. This could include being abused, bullied, harassed, including experiences of racism, breaking up with a partner, experiencing physical health problems, losing someone close to you, feeling extremely lonely or isolated, experiencing long periods of stress, or feeling stressed a lot. For some of us, these experiences can make hoarding worse if you started doing it before a traumatic period. I'm not sure. I'm going to be honest. I don't really... for me, it's definitely very difficult to kind of figure out where, like, genetic mental health issues start and where my traumatic issues start, because it just started so early on that I don't know what is from a situation and what is not, if that makes sense. The next one is family history or habits. It's common for those of us who hoard to have family members who share this behavior, such as a parent or a sibling. Some studies suggest that certain genes could make you more vulnerable to hoarding. I would definitely say hoarding runs in my family. My grandma and great aunt definitely are hoarders. My aunt definitely, actually, all 3 of my aunts are definitely hoarders. It says here, family links are very complicated. If you grew up around hoarding, you might have learned some of these habits and behaviors. I would say that's honestly true for, like, not even just hoarding, for everything. Like I said, I don't know where my genetic mental health issues start, like clinical stuff, and where my trauma-based mental health issues start, and where my learned bad habits start. Like, that's really been difficult for me to dissect, just those 3 different areas as I get older. And I feel like when I learned that one was connected to someone or being around someone, then it like added on a new set of difficulties and like a new set of fears based off of that. It says, if you live with someone who hoards, this can result in you having more clutter in your home overall. You might find it really difficult to make changes because you disagree with each other on what to keep and what to throw away. Now, I will say, all of this combined, I would say 90% of it is very much so true. I don't really want to get much into detail. One of these days, I don't know if I will ever really go into detail. I might not, I don't know. But I will say the older I get, the more and more it makes sense how I am and how passionate I am about certain things. And I don't say it enough, but I am extremely proud of my younger self. I think I deserved better. I deserved a lot more. Obviously, you can't change anything. There are definitely things I would go back in time and change about my reaction towards things or how much I allowed it to affect me. But I've reached an age where, I don't know, I feel like I've learned that nothing you could have done would have changed someone else's choices or decisions or behaviors. And I try to remind myself, with what I had to go through, I would say I'm doing a phenomenal job. I'm sure people would disagree, but to each their own. I don't know, I'm just really grateful that, yeah, sure, a quarter of my life is gone, but at least I'm starting to... The best way I can describe it is my life and my trauma and my mental health issues is quite literally, if you look at a picture of my room, that is what it looks like. And there isn't like a date of where it started or a reason as to why it started on each little package or each little piece of trash. It is all just thrown in a room. So I'm kind of having to go through and somehow try and remember where things came from or started from, even though it started before I feel like I could even humanly possibly create a memory. I think one way to tell if you do have a hoarding problem, whether it's starting in a small form or a larger form, again, I'm not a professional in any way, shape, or form, so please tell me if I'm wrong. I would assume that it's not just things, and I know that sounds odd, but in my experience, like I said in the past video, I noticed that I hold on to a lot of memories and I hold the value in that item even if I don't own that item. So if it changes or if it moves or if a store goes out of business, it affects me more than it should. Same thing with items. Me getting rid of an item is either destroying a memory I had or destroying a memory I could make. But for me, the issue is there's only so much time in your life, and in order for you to make as many memories as possible, you actually have to go out and do it. So for me, I'm just trying to be more deliberate in the things that I own, and I can hope to have those experiences. I can hope to use those items, but I can't keep them until the opportunity comes. When the opportunity comes, then I can get it, if that makes sense. At least I get, again, any professionals out there, I don't know if that's a healthy way of doing things. I think it's a lot healthier than what I am doing, as opposed to purchasing the items and waiting for the moment to come. Wait for the moment and the people to be there, then get the thing to use, whether that's a game, whether that's a cake pan set, whether that's, whatever it might be. Also, sorry if this video gave absolutely no information other than the basic or what you could simply Google. I'm kind of doing this more for myself because I want to see my progress over the course of, I would like to say like 6 months, but ideally this is a lifelong process, sorting through mental health issues, trauma, and learned habits, just trying to get through it one thing at a time, one day at a time. I don't know, it's such a shame that, listen, I'm very grateful for the time that I live in. And people often ask, like, oh, what, not specifically me, but this is just like a popular question. If you could live in any time, what would it be? And I never in my entire life had a definitive answer of what era I'd want to be in. And I think that's because I genuinely am grateful for the era that I'm in. I don't think that I would have survived in an earlier time frame just because of how much knowledge we have on mental health, diseases, all of that. I'm just very grateful for the time that I live in now and all the knowledge we have, and that I'm able to Google and research anything. So if I'm having a little inkling of, oh, is this where my hoarding's coming from? Could this even be a possibility? I do have some steps written down that I want to take to say my proper goodbyes with my items. I wanted to try the Marie Kondo, is that how you say it? The Marie Kondo method. I am not going to do that. I just think that method, to me, it's extremely overwhelming and extremely stressful. So what I'm gonna do is just each day, starting with one item, something either the size of my fist or items that collect up to the size of my fist minimum, to get rid of if I truly believe that there is a future purpose for this item. Write it down in a book, write down what the purpose is, write down if the purpose is to use with anyone in the future. Like, what is it? Why? You get the point. You get the picture. Recommended treatment. One is cognitive behavioral therapy. It's the main treatment for hoarding disorder. It says here to try and find a therapist or a mental health provider with expertise in treating hoarding disorder. I would highly recommend therapy. I am currently not in therapy. I think since COVID, it's been extremely hard finding an in-person therapist. I've been searching for quite a while now, and everyone is fully booked. And for me, online or over the phone therapy, it actually gives me more anxiety than anything. I think one, because I'm doing my treatment in the place of my trauma, but two, I want one place in the world where I'm not in the world, if that makes sense. Like, the time I'm in therapy, I want to forget everything exists, everyone exists, and I just want to focus solely on me. It says here, part of CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, learn to identify and challenge thoughts and beliefs related to getting and saving items. Learn to resist the urge to get more items. Learn to organize and group things to help you decide which ones to get rid of, including which items can be donated. Improve your decision making and coping skills. That one's a huge one for me. I just don't think I realized how screwed up I actually am. I mean, I did, but now, I just think I'm connecting all the pieces of weird one-off moments of panic. It says here, remove clutter in your home during in-home visits by a therapist or professional organizer. That one I feel like is out of 90% of the population's budget. I just think that everything is so intertwined. I'm sure there's someone out there that has a hoarding issue that is solely just a hoarding issue, but I just feel like majority of people, and this is based off of zero knowledge, I feel like a lot of it has to do with other things. So for me, I don't like people coming into my room in my home. One, because I still live with my family, but two, I think just because of the environment I was raised in, I have a lot of irrational, unintentional fears when it comes to letting people in. I don't like my friends. I have friends that I've met in different areas, and I don't like them meeting each other, getting to know each other. I think because I have so many walls up, and I think I let people into different sections of those walls. So if I were to have all of my friends interact, then it forces me to but let other people into the sections of my walls that I just am not ready to. The next is learn to reduce isolation and increase opportunities to join meaningful social activities and supports. That one I feel like is good because, for me at least, I really enjoy being around people I love, and the longer I'm away from people I love, the more I kind of just get closed off. Learn ways to increase your desire for change. I guess the only way to do that is to try new things and find things that you like from trying new things, and it'll slowly build up your want to try new things. Or not want, but just ability, I guess. It says attend family or group therapy. And it also says have occasional visits or ongoing treatment to help you keep your healthy habits. Would agree with that one. Treatment often involves regular help from family, friends, and agencies to help remove clutter. Again, for me, I think my biggest issue before I can even invite people in to help me is inviting people even in to get to know me. For anyone out there who is in a similar position to me or also feels like they are far behind the rest of everyone and also far behind in the healing process and pretty much far behind in every aspect of your life, I'm truly sorry. I get it. I wish you weren't feeling it. I wish I wasn't feeling it. I can't promise things will be perfect, but I can promise things will get better. One thing that I like to do is I like to look back at what I would consider a horrible time in my life and think, if I was back in that place, I'd rather die than be there, to be quite honest. So I know that things are getting better, maybe not mentally, but at least situationally. And for every single person out there, I just want to remind everyone to never let yourself forget what you are worth, how you should be treated, spoken to, and how you should be touched. People should respect you, mind, body, and soul, under all circumstances. And please reach out to professionals if you are in a situation where you need help. I guess my goals for this podcast, one, are for me just to have record of where I'm at, but also just a place just to kind of brain dump with whatever I'm going through that week or something that I've been struggling with my whole entire life. This podcast is not just going to be about hoarding. This is just where it started. But as I clean my room, I'm just going to keep rambling and talking about my life, and I don't know, I hope this helps at least one person out there, because I don't know. I wish I was a lot further along than I actually am, but you can't change that. It just takes time. But I know I'll get there eventually. I just have to practice breathing and patience and just having hope that there will be a better tomorrow. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It was kind of a lot of rambling and just information you can get off of Google. But again, I am just slowly trying to chip away at whatever the hell is going on in my brain and figure out a healthier way of life so I can have a happier, healthier life.